Today started off really quiet. I went for a drive to scout out some new places. While driving to one of those places, I saw a very small cave in the distance, about 350 feet up from where I was. So I flew the drone just to see what was there. But then I saw something that changed the rest of the day. Wow, so talk about starting off this new year with a bang. So I had to pull over because I had so many thoughts running through my head. I scouted off this new area. I was doing like a survey, just kind of, flying the drone and stuff. And I saw like this cave high up there, like this little black little line. I'm gonna go fly my drone. Sometimes I'm lucky with that stuff, sometimes I'm not. I'm so glad I did on this one. So what was hiding up here? Well, you're not gonna believe it. As I was flying closer with the drone, I realized there's some markings above this cave. I didn't notice them at first, but you can see the exact moment I saw them with the drone. And as I got closer, I realized I've never seen these before. I don't think I've ever seen any of these in any website publication anywhere. As I was looking close, I realized that I saw two different cultures here. At least these are my thoughts, right? The ancestral Puebloans and also maybe the Paiutes. Because when I was working at Zion as a bus driver, I saw a couple sites of Paiute petroglyphs and pictographs. And these had some similar styles. But I have also seen some styles of the ancestral Puebloans that looked very familiar here. So I think there's two cultures here. And the craziest thing is that these petroglyphs are so high up from the valley floor. Like I'm talking maybe 350 feet. But I am just so shocked that there are so many. And the thing that I found the most interesting is that there is only rock art there. Why aren't there any ruins of any kind? I'm gonna have to review the footage because as I was looking, I just didn't see anything, any signs of any sort of rock, anything. So maybe they're destroyed or whatever. But the best part is, and that made me so happy, these are not vandalized. These are not, they're not like a bunch of random names on there carved up there. These are just petroglyphs without the vandalism. That made me so happy to see. Here are some of my ideas on this panel. Could this be a depiction of corn? What do these squares with circles mean? Certainly looks like a train or buses to our modern eyes. There are some other symbols and shapes here that are very interesting. On this other panel, this is fascinating how this anthropomorph is painted in white. And this one here has a zigzag line connecting to this being here. And then it continues on in circles to this other being with 3 lines on its head. What could that possibly mean? That's my favorite part about the rock art, is that we will never know what any of this means. And I was flying along, I kept finding more and more very strange symbols, very strange markings. And of course, we cannot decipher, interpret these petroglyphs. The context, the people that made them, their ideas, their thoughts, their beliefs, we just don't have it. And so we don't know. We're left to just kind of infer anything that we can. And it'd be wrong of us to say this is what this means. But we can say what these are, what they look like. There are anthropomorphs, bighorn sheep, zoomorphs.
So I was flying my drone around this part, and I kept thinking there was rock art around every corner, which was kind of true. I kind of find these really clear outcroppings. And there's something right there. And I saw these. I thought they're so interesting. Looks like a couple of anthropomorphs with some type of footprint or something. And these other figures. But then around the corner, I saw these zigzags and then this concentric circle right here about the middle right of the screen. And there's more stuff on the left, like these little circles connected. And this little canyon. This little slot canyon doesn't go anywhere. Thought it was so interesting that these would be right here. And then I saw something higher up, this zigzag.
So what else did I see? So I thought that was it, but then I just kind of followed at that same elevation with the drone and just flew all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and I saw more stuff.
This panel is one of my favorites. There's just so much going on here, so many unique things. I was zooming in, I didn't know where to begin. There are some spirals, concentric circles, anthropomorphs, and there's something else really exciting that I'm gonna bring out here in a second with the software that I have. Down here, there's this person that seems to be stuck between two poles, or between, cliffs, or climbing up, or what. It's just so interesting. And then these people climbing up. Looks like they're in motion. Does it look like they're climbing up this mountain?
And I saw more stuff. More anthropomorphs, more zoomorphs, more symbols, spirals in really odd locations. Odd to me, but of course the ancients knew what they were doing. One spiral was way high up, like all these petroglyphs were down below, and then the spiral was at the very top. So very interesting. It just kept going and going, and they were all up on these cliffs. Again, no ruins, no structures of any kinds, just lots of petroglyphs.
This panel is very interesting to me. There's a lot going on, lots of symbols and things, but look at this figure right in the middle of the panel with its arms outstretched and its, what I think, fingers pointing down. Why do you think its arms are outstretched like that? And to be honest, I haven't really seen that in other locations. And I was looking around and I saw the spiral about the middle left that I'll zoom into a little bit later. Then nearby it, just on the left, there's this little panel. Zoom out too far. Just these little figures, what I think are coyotes and things. And then you can see that spiral right in the middle of the screen. Very faint. Why is it right at the top?
And we will never know why some were chosen to be pecked and carved and others were chosen to be painted. But I love the variety of these. And again, it makes me so happy. Like, I filled up with so much joy just thinking about how there's no vandalism. I didn't see anybody's carved name up there. Nothing like Becky Loves John 2015. Nothing like that, which just made it all the more special for me. It really makes me wonder what kind of place this was. Was it a hunting area? Was it like a spiritual place where you had to make this big climb up to this particular spot? And there's these petroglyphs there to guide you to something, some kind of ceremony or religious significance. I don't know. There are some bighorn sheep, but not as much as I would think, because in some of the locations where I know there are bighorn sheep, there are just tons of petroglyphs of bighorn sheep. There wasn't as much as I thought. It was more symbols and zigzags and spirals, anthropomorphs, really interesting figures. I'm not sure why they're so high up, because there's rocks way down below in the valley here that could be easily carved, but these you'd have to hike up to see them. I want to know your ideas on why do you think they were so high up. You can't see them from down below. They're literally like 350 feet above where I was at. I think one of the best things for me when I see a site like this is to imagine what life was like back then. We can't use presentism, and think of all of our current morals, beliefs, systems, everything to judge the past, at least in rock art form. We just don't know. So I'm trying to put myself in their shoes. And I think this is a special place. I think that's what this means. And you might be saying, well, Jeff, like every petroglyph site is special. That's true. I believe that. But I think I'm wondering why they're so high up there and what the purpose of that would be. Because I've seen some, especially in the Four Corners, where they're high up next to a river. So if you're going down the river, you can see these petroglyphs. Or you're going through a wash or some kind of creek bed, and there's petroglyphs along this creek. So it's like you would see them as you traveling around. But these are so high up, even if you were, traveling down along the base of these cliffs, you probably wouldn't see them. I didn't. And so I wonder how they would know, is there some petroglyphs down in some of these boulders where they can interpret these symbols and know that there's something way high up, like some spiritual journey or something, right? These are just my thoughts. I have no idea. But these are very mysterious. There's some petroglyphs that I'm like, what does that mean? What could that possibly mean? Especially that anthropomorph, that human-like figure with his arms stretched out. And there's petroglyphs and other people or beings below them. And the other one that's kind of sandwiched between those poles or lines or cliffs, that's very interesting to me too. But that's the nature of my channel, genuine exploration. We're trying to learn more about these people, trying to make a connection with the past so we can preserve it for the future. And so that's kind of what I hope to instill in this year, 2025, is continue on with that respect, continue on with learning and understanding. Start off the year with real ancient fireworks. And I think that's what I just needed. Yeah, just what I needed. And I hope it's what you needed too, to start off your year right with something completely brand new. I'm so happy you're here, part of my channel, that I can share these things with you. It brings me so much joy to share it with you all. And I hope, we're learning all this together. We're discovering this all together. I hope you enjoy this adventure. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you on the next adventure.